Hello everyone, Josh here with Enemy Impact, bringing you guys some more Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, and today we're going to be going over the balanced Gemini deck that I put together for you guys here. Now that I finally went into the box set and got some of the cards that I needed, I started making some decks. I ran with a Koki deck, but I feel like they might be just too slow. I ran with Grass is Greener. I feel like that was definitely a more better build. I'm going to play test that a little bit more before I try to do any kind of video for that. But we went ahead and we jumped on over to Geminis because I really wanted to try out Geminis with balance. I feel like with the 6 spells that we're going to be rocking, that it felt like it would be just, we'd get pretty good starting hands, and, by golly, we sure did. So let's go ahead and talk about the deck real quick, talk about its weaknesses first. Now, the problem with this deck is it's going to have a little bit of trouble dealing with back row, of course, which a lot of these new decks really will have the same problem. So you got to definitely try and figure out a creative way maybe to deal with back row if you really want to. I mean, yes, you can destroy back row with Spark, but sometimes that's not enough. Another problem you may have is if your opponent is running spellbooks and they go first. Unless you got a Spark in your hand quickly, maybe even with a spellbook. A Spark and a Supervise, early game, you might be able to handle spellbooks pretty easily, which I think we do have a spellbook matchup in this video today, so I hope you guys do enjoy that. So it can beat spellbooks, it's just the matchup early on can be a little bit tricky depending on what your hand is. Now, a lot of you are probably wondering, why aren't you running like maybe Canada? Canada seems like maybe a good fit for this deck, but honestly, Canada is just like more or less a band-aid. We don't want to run a band-aid, we want to play more aggro. So I'm running the 6 monsters, 6 spells, and 8 trap build because I feel like the traps are a lot more needed in this deck than anything else. And of course, we're going to be running the new Dark Valkyria. What's Dark Valkyria going to be able to do? Basically, you can activate her effect when she is a normal monster, or his effect rather, sorry. Gender police are going to be after me. But anyway, so basically you're going to activate their effect when they are a normal monster. That way you can get their effect off, being able to boost themselves up to 2100 attack. And then you can actually use that spell boost, spell counter boost that you get to actually nuke a monster on the field, on your opponent's side of the field if you want. Which is really, really good, and it actually saves you in a lot of situations. And then you also got Spark, of course, which is a quick play, really good card. If you go first turn, you can just kind of set that, especially if you have a Supervise, which is a great combo. Being able to do that, revive, destroy, get a free draw, all kinds of good shenanigans. We are taking in 2 Drowning Mirror Force just for those situations where you don't have Supervise yet and you have to use Spark early to nuke one of your Geminis. You'll have that Drowning Mirror Force, on standby, and if that isn't there, you're going to have Widespread Ruin, or of course Wall of D. You're going to get one of those 3 cards guaranteed in your starting hand, like always. So it's really good. You're also going to get one of your 2 Geminis, which are both really good in their own right. Like Heavy Knight of Flame, if you get his effect off, he can just kind of banish anything that's been special summoned, which is really clutch in a meta where everything seems to be special summoned these days. And of course, you guys already knew what Spark does in Supervise, we already talked about. So let's go ahead and get right into the matchups here. And again, some of the weaknesses would be like getting hit with a Dampa, Wiz, Negation, of course, the possibility of spellbooks getting like the perfect starting hand to going first, and then you gotta try and scramble to try and do something. So I mean, those are just some of the weaknesses. Of course, it's gonna have other weaknesses. I don't really feel like this deck is like super duper competitive. Like I don't think it's gonna be like a top mid or anything, but it's definitely a cool rogue deck that you could play, and I feel like it could match up enough to at least get you some wins. So I mean, it's a great deck. Don't get me wrong, it's a fun deck. I just don't feel that it's like super duper competitive, at least not right now. It might see a little bit more play after the nerfs to, like, I don't know, getting hit, Dampa going down to 2, maybe, Dinah going down a little bit, and then you got, of course, Wiz. The problem is Wiz is kind of the main problem to go against because of that negation. But, I mean, if you could play around it, then it's going to go off and you're going to do a lot of crazy shenanigans. I mean, you've got a lot of board control between Valkyria and, of course, Spark. Now, you'll see the first duel, we actually were playtesting with Gemini Trapple. I teched in one of those, but I feel like it was way too slow, so I took it out. So the first duel is kind of more or less just to kind of showcase, kind of what your starting hands could look like if you're running with balance. I feel like balance is by far probably the best skill to use with this deck, much like the 10 Kabito Wildheart deck, and we just kind of just demolished that vampire user. And he had a problem too, because even if he tried to like destroy my Heavy Knight of Flame, I was gonna be able to get it right back, plus I still had 2 other back row to deal with, so he was kind of in trouble no matter what at that point. Starting with Supervise and Spark with 1 trap is just disgusting. If you can get that off, if you go turn 2, oh man. So this one's against Arcana. And I believe there was a misplay in one of these duels where I forget to actually use Valkyria's effect to boost it up to 2100 and then nuke a card on the field. I forget what duel it is. It might actually be this duel, but there was definitely one of the duels that I completely forgot to do that. And what's cool is Valkyria can do that every single turn. It's amazing. Alright, so right here, as you can see, we start with 2 traps. We got a Valkyria and we got a Supervise, which is a really, really good hand. I would love to have switched one of those traps out with a Spark, and that would have been just a god hand. But right here is a situation where I said you really got to have a good hand to go over spell books early on. But if you can pull it off, oh man, is it beautiful. And you guys are going to see that replay right now. I hope you guys do enjoy this. Because a lot of people's like, can Geminis beat Spellbook of Fate? Well, you're about to watch it happen. And look at that top deck. We pulled that Gemini Spark. Gonna hit that Supervise. He's gonna activate Fate. We're gonna chain that Spark. Get rid of our Valkyria. We're gonna nuke his monster. Now he can't run another Fate right now or anything like that on his next turn until he at least draws into one. But of course, it's Spellbooks. They're gonna draw into it no matter what. But now we got full back row with a Valkyria on the field. Very amazing. He's gonna use Spellbook of Secrets yet again. And of course, he's going to go ahead and grab a blue boy. You know, that's just obvious spellbook move. And they pretty much do the same thing over and over again. It's pretty much autopilot deck for the most part. Alright, so he's grabbing Spellbook of Fate. He's going to bring out Silent Magician. Now, here's where it's really crazy. This is where we really tilted the guy. This is where we really, really tilted the guy. Boom. Wall of D. He's like, alright, I'm bringing out my 3500 beat stick. Guess what? Boom! Widespread Ruin. He instant rage quits. The man had no answers at that point. Even if you tried to use Fade, it wouldn't have mattered. So that was one of my personal favorite replays right there that I got to give for you guys. You know, being able to beat Spellbook. Not only did we beat Spellbooks, we beat Silent Magician with Gemini. So that was really, really cool. Of course, the back row helped a lot, but man, that early Spark and Supervise did a lot as well. Just amazing. This might have been against a Mermail deck. I think this might have been Mermail. No, yeah, I think this was Mermail. I think one of our replays today was Mermail for sure. And look at our starting hand, just beautiful starting hand. We didn't get that Supervise that I'd really like to have early game, but I mean, having that Spark just instantly there, I mean, it makes everything worth it. And look at this, we're gonna tilt the man. He's gonna bring out Abyss Megalo, trying to use his from graveyard, trying to take me out, but it's not going to work. I activated Spark, got a free top deck, and took out his beat stick, and he had to use a beat stick to get it out, so he's already down to 1 Megalo at this point. He sets 1 card. We attack for 1800 damage. Right there is where I thought that I misplayed, but now that I look at it, I was like, wait a minute, I couldn't do it anyway. I didn't have him. He wasn't a normal monster at that point, so that wouldn't have mattered. But right here, we're going to go ahead and trigger it. Boom, boom, blow up his monster. He just let it get blown up because there was no point not to. Because even if he tried to activate SSA to protect it, it would not have mattered because he didn't have anything else to stop me. And that is, of course, me beating Mermails with Gemini. Alright, so now we got Joey Wheeler. And then we're going to finish things off with Yugimoto. And I hope you guys are enjoying the video so far. Be sure to check out some of my other videos, my other content. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe, become an Impact Player today. If you guys like anime content all the time, that's what we do here. We've been playing a lot of Pokemon lately too. If you guys like those kind of walkthroughs and stuff like that, be sure to check that out. Just a cheap little plug for you guys. And also, I've got our Discord in the description below as always. So this is against Joey Wheeler. Now this deck was really, really weird. I wasn't really too sure of what he was trying to accomplish here. But we're going to start with Supervise, Heavy Knight. You know, we got 2 back row. Go ahead and take out his Swap Frog. He sets 1 back row. And then he's going to go ahead and use Treacherous Chapel. But we have that Supervise. I'm going to go ahead and bring back Valkyrie. And right here is where no, was it? No. I guess I didn't make a misplay. I thought I made a misplay on one of my replays where I didn't actually activate Valkyrie's effect to give it 2100 attack. But I guess I didn't. I thought I did, but I guess I didn't. But I'm not sure what that guy was trying to accomplish with the Swap Frog. I don't know if he like misplayed hardcore there or what. But I was like waiting for something interesting to happen, and it didn't. So it was a very lackluster duel, but nonetheless, another victory for our Geminis. And this is our final replay of the day, just kind of showcasing you guys what the deck can do with, you know, chaining Spark to certain things. It's really, really cool. You also have, of course, Supervise, allowing you to bring back your Gemini if you lose it to like a treasure trap hole, for example, or any other kind of, monster destruction like Dampa or whatever. So very, very interesting. The deck is very, very cool. It's definitely built around the whole premise of control. You want to control the board, and that's why we're running cards like Ruin. That's why we're running cards like Drowning Mirror Force and Wall of D, because we want to be able to get his cards off the field while we can still play ours. And this is against a Furhire, because every deck is not complete until you can beat a Furry. Post-nerf Furry, I'm sorry, pre-nerf Furry too. Furries do not get nerfed till tomorrow. So there you go. So we went and took out 3 of his cards in one quick sequence. 2100 damage. He's going to activate Mayhem for higher. He's going to bring that out. And look, he has nothing to do at this point, because he's going to activate Hey Trunade, but he can't do anything. And I have full 4,000 life points. He cannot get over my 2100 attack. And he knew next turn all I had to do was activate Valkyrie's effect, and I would have destroyed his Wiz, and then he would have been screwed at that point. So that's definitely one good thing that this deck does offer you that some other decks don't, is that Valkyria can get up to 2100 attack. Wiz can only get up to 1600. Even if you put that in a Ties That Bind and put full three monsters on the field, it's still only going to get up to like, what, 1900 or whatever. So it's not still going to get high enough, even in like a beatdown deck, unless you get other 5-stars on the field. It's still not going to get over that 2100 attack. And you can activate its effect, which Wiz cannot negate, that you can use to destroy, of course, Wiz herself, rather. And then you can start using the other back row and stuff like that you need to without worry. So that is definitely one good, counter that it does have the Furries, is the fact that it does have a strong monster in the field that does have effects like that. So, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed those replays. Again, subscribe if you're new to becoming an Impact player today, and join us in the Discord below, and I'll catch you guys all in the next one. I tried to make this video as fast as possible, so catch you later, and peace.